All right, guys, Krista back here from Grant Cardone, Canada, Director of Recruitment, with a few more tips for you, this time on training your staff. So tip number 1, you have to find the reason they are learning whatever they're learning. Whatever they're training on, make sure they understand why and how important it is and how it's actually going to help them. If someone doesn't have a reason to learn something, yeah, sure, they'll go through the motions, but they're gonna forget. They're not gonna care. They're not actually gonna make sure they understand it, and they're not gonna connect it to anything in real life. So make sure they understand the real purpose behind it, how it relates to them personally. Tip number 2, avoid the overwhelm. It's so common when bringing someone on that they just get inundated with so much new content and new data, and to us, it's just normal. It's just everyday stuff. We don't really think anything of it, but to them, it's all brand new. So make sure that you bring things in bit by bit by bit. It doesn't mean go slow, it doesn't mean take too long, but make sure that you're giving them chunks of information and chunks of things to practice that they can actually digest and retain, and then give them a little bit more. Let them have a win with it. Don't just throw it all on them and expect them to learn it all at once. Have a little bit of patience with new people. Number 3, do not confuse them with terminology. Another huge mistake that is commonly made with new people is expecting them to understand the lingo of your company. Every business has their own abbreviations, their own terms, their own lingo. A new person coming in, unless they're already very familiar with that field, is likely going to have words, phrases, abbreviations, etc. that they don't fully understand. So make sure when you're talking to them, take the viewpoint of them and define things as you're explaining it. Define things in writing. Ideally, write out like a little bit of a glossary that you can give to new people. You'd be shocked how much faster people will understand things and how much brighter they will appear when you help them define the terms that they don't fully understand. Number 4, balancing study with observation and practice. Those are the 3 steps to learning anything successfully. So don't just give them a manual or material to study. They also have to see it in action. They have to watch somebody doing that exact process who knows how to do it, and they can learn from doing that. And then they have to actually have the opportunity to practice that. So if it's an interaction with a customer, have them role play it with somebody else who's more experienced. If it's a technical process, have them go through a mock scenario with that process until they're actually comfortable with it. But if you just give them the material to study, they won't get it, they won't be successful, you won't see the results that you want to see, and their head will just end up spinning. Number 5, be tough on their mistakes, but validate their good points. Validate what they do right. So when people are making errors or they're doing things that are kind of dumb, because let's be real, new people always do things that are kind of dumb. Yes, criticize those things. Be like, hey, that's not right. Hey, that's the wrong thing. But make sure that you're acknowledging what they're doing right. Make a person feel good about themselves, especially when they're new somewhere or they're learning something new. They're insecure, they're nervous, they don't know what they're doing. So make sure that even when you're critiquing them, even when you're sort of have to pick apart what they're doing in order to make sure they're doing it right, always acknowledge their good traits and always acknowledge what they're doing right so that they actually want to continue. Okay, guys, that's it for today. What I want to know is, what is your number 1 tip in training people? Either as a person that's getting trained or as somebody who's training other people. I really want to know. Drop it in the comments and we'll check it out.